Hello again, everybody. Well, today we are back down at the Chickamauga battlefield. It's in Georgia, just a little bit outside of Chattanooga. What we're going to talk about is a little bit of ghost stories for the area, especially one that's very famous. Its name is Green Eyes. And according to people, seeing haunted people or ghosts or spooky things in the parks isn't uncommon. You can always argue for, well, terrible things happened here, stuff gets attracted to it, but Green Eyes is probably the most famous of them all for down here. And the tales range from a Confederate soldier that had his head blown off by a cannon to a green-eyed panther. And I'm going to quote Kevin Cummings from the Rome News Tribune. They wrote an article on this, and Green Eyes is rumored to be a man who lost his head to a cannonball, frantically searching the battlefield at night for his dislocated body. And funny enough, the people that were here right afterwards were the ones that started all of these tales. So we're going to go just wander around and take a little bit. Unfortunately, it's raining a little bit, so some of this may be in the car. I apologize. I was not anticipating rain rolling in. But anyway, guys, let's go take a look and see what we can see. Again, quoting from Kevin Cummings from the Rome News Tribune. One of the earliest ghost sightings shortly after the Civil War ended is documented in Susie Blaylock McDaniel's book, The Official History of Catoosa County. Jim Carlock, an early resident of the Post Oak community, writes in McDaniel's book about returning home from a centennial celebration on Market Street in Chattanooga in 1876, a mere 13 years after the battle. Carlock writes, "Did you ever see a ghost? They used to see them on the Chickamauga battlefields just after the war." Carlock goes on to write that while passing through the battlefield, or near it, the exact location is unclear, it was dark and there was no houses nearby when he and his friends spotted something 10 feet high with a big white head. He said he and his companions were in a wagon and a Mr. Shields was riding horseback. Carlock and Shields rode up and hit the ghost, and a baby cried out, and the ghost said, "Let me alone." He said the entity appeared to be a ghostly apparition of a slave woman with a bundle of clothes on her head. Now, interestingly enough, out of the 34,000 casualties that were killed or wounded at Chickamauga, only about 4,000 are believed to have perished during the battle. Roughly 70% perished from their wounds when the fighting ended, from infection and other stuff like that. According to some other sources, other tales claim that Green Eyes actually existed before the Civil War and was circulated among the soldiers during the fighting, or that the spirit existed as early as the Native American occupation of the land where the battlefield is located. There are other tales, but we're going to have to work our way over to the Wilder Tower to see that next. A Laura Gilstrap, who was a lifelong resident of Fort Oglethorpe, which is not too far away from here, said that when she was 16 years old in 1990, she and about 10 of her friends were enjoying a hayride inside the battlefield when the unexpected happened. She said around dusk, the group decided to take a break around Wilder Tower. Off in the field near the tower, they spied a flaming torch that would disappear, then mysteriously reappear again. Suddenly, the kids heard a horse's hoofbeats, and a skeleton in a Confederate soldier's uniform appeared to dismount from a ghostly horse with green eyes. Gilstrap said, she said the skeleton constantly repeated the name Amy before disappearing for good. One can only imagine seeing the skeleton of that soldier, especially in the creepiness of the dark. So, two more famous folks to talk about. There is the Lady in White. And over the years, several paranormal experts have seen the ghostly Lady in White roaming around the park. According to the legends, the Lady in White's husband died in battle, and she has spent her afterlife searching for his body. People have noted that the lady tends to roam in and out of the graves, traveling the fields, before slipping into the woods at all hours of the day and night. And then a final one is a little odd. I did come across several tales of it, and, well, I'll let you be the judge of that. The sources on this ghost vary, but this regular visitor, the headless horseman, is allegedly the ghost of Lieutenant Colonel Julius Garchet. If I mispronounce that, please correct me. He was a well-revered soldier who met his fate with a cannonball during battle. A stampede of horses trotted by, squashing the officer's head and carrying it with them for several yards. Soldiers discovered his headless trunk after the incident, and visitors report seeing a mysterious headless figure on horseback galloping through the woods at night. But here's part of the problem. Lieutenant Colonel Garchet was killed during the Battle of Stones River, which is way away from here. It's up near Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So I don't know why tales of that have popped up. But even on a normal day, there's a heaviness to this whole battlefield. I mean, after all, a very large battle happened here. And these are only a few of the tales that are told. And just to add to another creepy flair, the Cherokee meaning for Chickamauga is the river of death. I don't know if they were foreshadowing it, or if it was more descriptive of that the river just did not flow well. Just thought that everyone would want to know. But let's take a look deeper into the park. There are hundreds of tales, if not thousands of tales, of what happened here in the park. Each one has their own, even if some are more famous than others. One must always remember what has happened. Because while this may be a peaceful place now, in the grand scheme of things, not too terribly long ago, horrors were visited upon the battlefield. Anyway, I hope you guys and gals have enjoyed my little look at some of the more famous haunts, or haints as they're called, of the Chickamauga battlefield. As always, I'm off to go on some more journeys. So until then, why don't you go on a journey of your own? We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.